Welcome to the F122 Tier 1 stream. Hello, Joe. You're the first one. Congrats. I'm proud of you. We are just getting ready now. I think we've got basically all the drivers in and readied up now. We've got a fairly full grid, so this is certainly going to be an interesting race with a lot of new faces as well. But as we load into qualifying, I would like to remind you all we are affiliated with Rogue Energy. Please use code PHX for 10% off of your order at checkout. Now you can enjoy a black screen whilst we load in, because it doesn't want to change screens. I apologize. Never mind, it loaded. There we go. How's everyone doing today? Oh no. We've lost Timur. We'll have to get him back. It's unfortunate. For those of you who are here from the Tier 2 stream earlier, welcome back. I hope you enjoy this race and hope it's as oh my god, English, please. I hope it is as exciting as Tier 2 was before. I certainly do look forward to it. Now as we load in for qualifying, I am joined today by Pinax, who unfortunately isn't here at the moment, but he will be joining me in the commentary box for tonight. Oops, wrong one. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a few new faces to the grid today. We do have 18 drivers, so a fairly full pack. Unfortunately, 2 drivers missing, but the new faces we have, we've got Nadim reserving in for Alfa Romeo, today, with Fat Cat Batman as well reserving in for Alfa Romeo. We then have Call Me Panos reserving in for Ferrari, and Koz reserving in for Ferrari as well. And finally, the newest face on the grid, Timur. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to pronounce your last name because I feel like I'll butcher that horrendously. But we've got Timur reserving in for Ferrari as well. So Ferrari and Alfa Romeo with a full brand new reserve lineup for the Tier 1 race tonight. First driver out is the other Alfa Romeo. We've got Fat Cat Batman, first driver to get out for qualifying. We do have a few drivers serving a... Actually, we've only got one driver serving a qualifying ban. Unfortunately, Dante, I believe he won the race last week at Australia Sprint Weekend. Unfortunately, after that race, he did receive 6 penalty points, which does land him in a position where he has to serve a qualifying ban. So, for the duration of the session, he can either sit out and stay in the pits or retire at the start of the session and spectate the entire session. I've said session far too many times now. Pinax, welcome. I see you're alive and in the call. How you doing, mate?
Doing really great. Hope you're doing great as well.
I'm considering I'm still a bit speechless from the Tier 2 race, and that was the 14 drivers on the grid. We're about to have 18 drivers on the grid.
That's even better.
And we have 5 Aston Martin drivers on the grid, I'd like to point out. Whilst 3 of them may not be racing in Aston Martin, they are still an Aston Martin driver. So we have our 2 usuals. We have JP and Dante, full-time drivers with Aston Martin. We then have a reserve driver, Fat Cat Batman, Tier 3 driver, reserving to Tier 1 with Alfa Romeo. Nadim Jr., he is a Tier 2 driver and the team principal for Aston Martin, and is now reserving into Tier 1. And then we also have Call Me Panos, the Tier 2 reserve, currently championship leader in Tier 2, reserving into Tier 1 with Ferrari. So that's 5 Aston Martin drivers on the grid. This is insane.
That's a lot.
That is a lot of green. Well, I say a lot of green. It's a lot of red. 4 red cars and only 2 green cars.
Yeah. And 5 of them are Aston Martin drivers. Aston Martin takeover.
This is it. This is where Aston Martin's just going to walk away with the championship because they had 5 drivers.
Yeah, I guess so.
Here we go. We got Fat Cat Batman. He was the first one to come out of the pits with a flying lap. He's actually completely backed out of that lap. No, he hasn't. Okay, thank you for the desync. Fat Cat is still going around on his lap and is coming around through towards the final straight. Oh, that's great. Yeah, Aston
Thank you, EA.
Martin 1 to 5. I reckon it's going to be Dante, then Nadim, then JP, then Panos, then Fat Cat. In terms of the order of the top 5, not necessarily positions 1 to 5. Here we go, Fat Cat. Keeping his car within track limits there, across the line. Invalidated lap time, unfortunately. Or rather, no, okay. It
Oh,
is a valid
yeah.
lap time. Thank you, game. The time to beat is a 1:33.5. That is buggy as all hell. Maverick with a 1:44.8, probably just putting in a banker lap, with Fudge putting in a 1:32.8, the first 32 lap time of the evening. As now Cos puts in a 1:32.3, a 5/10 improvement for the Ferrari reserve driver. I am liking this so far. Ferrari looking. I mean, it's the first lap. I can't say much. I can't say it too early.
It's a
Fortunately,
sight
no
you like
sense
to
they're retiring from the session.
it's a sight you love to see. Ferrari on top,
It's
isn't it,
and
Darkness?
it is, and I've only just noticed it's exactly 5/10 improvement on Fudge's time.
Yeah,
Could
that's
we
even better.
see, as Panos puts in a 1:32.8, could we see potentially a sub 1:32 lap time in Tier 1 tonight? I mean, I would throw a fit if we did. Honestly, I would lose my
I think we
sugar.
can, to be honest.
As Rico puts in a 33.2. So far now, with just a few drivers putting in lap times, we've got 3 drivers in their 1:32s. Our fastest lap time in Tier 2 was a 1:33.0 by Mr. Nadim Jr., Legacy Jr., sorry. So already this evening lap record has been smashed way out of the park by 7/10.
That's incredible.
I'm speechless already,
The
and it's
level,
only qualifying.
yeah, the level you like to see in Tier 1.
This is exactly the level we'd love to see. Right, who else do we have on a lap right now who hasn't got a lap on the leaderboard? We've got SMH going round in the 3rd sector now. He's got a Haas just behind him. I think that'll be Rico. Potentially, yeah, that is Rico. Might be on a hot lap. Could they have an
he's on the lap.
unintentional tow to the Haas driver behind him? I can't quite tell if the Haas driver is on a hot lap. As
Yeah, he is.
Timur puts in a 1:32.6, the reserve driver for Red Bull.
Wow.
4 drivers now in the 1:32s. As we go back to SMH, where is he? SMH has crossed the line. He's put himself in 11th place at 1:34.9. And Rico into the pits, as I expected. We've got Uwe, the Red Bull driver, full-time Red Bull driver, for his outlap. Still 4 drivers to put in a qualifying time, and unfortunately Dante, with a qualifying ban, has had to sit out of the session, and we've lost No Sense coming out of the final corner. I believe he lost his car there and binned it into a wall, basically. So it's the Mercedes, it's no side pods, clearly.
Yeah.
It's the process of
Meant to be
elimination.
true. Exactly. And in time, the whole car will be invisible.
Oh yeah.
As slim as a paper.
Soon the entire car will be completely blackout. They're not going to have a livery at all.
Exactly. It's just pure.
You know what?
Carbon fiber.
They'll put rocket fuel. They'll put rocket fuel as their fuel. Hell, they'll put Rogue Energy. I'm not going to do another plug like that. But I have to. I've now said their name. I kind of have to. We are affiliated.
Yeah.
I don't mean it as a bad thing. We are affiliated Rogue Energy. I do appreciate them for giving us an affiliation code. But if you'd code PHX at checkout, you get 10% off your order. I just feel bad that every time I mention their name, I have to plug them. It feels wrong to not plug them if I say their name.
You have to, at some point.
I'm obligated to say that.
Yeah.
Right, well, we've got Uwe on a flying lap, got the Ferrari driver there. I think Panos getting out of the way. Also on a flying lap, Shanghai, aka Spinay, on a hot lap. Let's see what the Williams driver can do. He was our championship winner for last season, but so far it has been a rocky start for the Williams driver this season. I do not, if I remember this correctly, I believe the Williams driver has not won a race yet this season, which is quite unfortunate. I think Rico won at Jeddah, I believe.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
I
he did.
don't remember who won in Austria, unfortunately. And Australia, I wasn't here for that. Was I here for Australia? I don't remember.
Yeah,
I'm losing my mind. I can't remember.
Nadim and his incredible commentator,
yes,
skills.
Nadim did everything. Yeah. But who won tier 1? Dante. It was Dante. Dante and Nadim got a 1-2. That's what it was.
Yeah, exactly. Dante won.
But I can't remember who won Austria tier 1. That's what I'm trying to remember. I can't remember.
Can it be Arturo?
Possibly.
Let me actually check.
Joe, can you check? Or even Panax, yeah, can you check? Yeah. I'm stumped now. I really want to know this. So we got Shanghai going into the hairpin now. Coming towards the final corner, so apologies. I think JP has had a bit of a moment as well, coming out of the corner. I mean, there was a yellow flag, but okay.
Oh.
As Shanghai puts in the 5th best time, a 1:32.966, just barely under a 1:33. Uva 145 banker lap for the Red Bull driver as well. Another driver, Zolt's 134.966. Zolt putting in exactly 1 second slower lap time than Shanghai, splitting them 6th and 12th place respectively. 6th and 13th place now. As someone's had an approved time. No, Artuum's put a time in, a 1:32.8. 4/1000ths of a second behind Panos in 4th place.
Wow.
Wow, it's close.
The gap to P3 is really close.
That is incredibly close. We got Cos going across the line. Unfortunately, 7/1000ths of a second slower than his previous lap time. Timur crosses the line as well with no improvement. But I think Timur, that was not a hot flying lap. He's on his flying lap now as he's got a full tank. Or I say full tank of full. He's got a full battery. Rico won at Austria. Okay, there. So we got Rico. Yeah, so Shanghai has really not had the best of times so far. And it is very unfortunate to see. Hopefully, we'll be able to see him make a comeback at China. I mean, who knows? We clearly have some competitors here with Shanghai, with 6 drivers in a sub 1:33 lap. I mean, I am excited for this race already. And we got almost every driver is on the track right now, going for a new lap time. Timur currently, unfortunately... Oh no, Timur's on an improved lap. He's currently 1/10 up on his previous lap time. He needs to find 2 more tenths improvement in this final sector should he want to get that pole position. Fudge behind doesn't look to be improving on his lap times, unfortunately. Panos as well, just behind, and Rico to finish out the top 10, going into the pits now. Going back with Timur now, going into the final hairpin. Are we going to see the Red Bull driver improve and take pole position from Cos, or is he going to remain in 2nd place round the final corner? Brilliant exit to the line. That is a new fastest lap. That is a 1:32.0. That is a stellar improvement by the Red Bull driver. 2.5 tenths improvement. Cos now has 5 minutes to find 3 I think Cos, if he's going to take pole, he's going to take pole and make it a 1:31 lap time. This is... Are we going to see our first ever 1:31 tonight? This will certainly be interesting. Now, to note, the world record around China, Fudge looked this up in Tier 2. The world record is a 29.9, with 2nd place being a 1:30.0. So if we see a 1:31 lap time, that is a stellar lap. I mean, hell, a 1:32 is still an incredible lap, but a 1:31 something, holy hell.
Exactly.
You don't need to be Tier 1, you need to be your own tier.
Yeah.
Right, well, let's have a look now. We've got Shanghai on an outlap. Hopefully we can see the Williams driver improve and find himself perhaps up onto the second row of the grid, maybe even on the front row. We'll have to see, will this be redemption day for the Williams driver, and will he find himself with the pace again with the top drivers? Also on an outlap, we've got the Alfa Romeo Reserve Fat Cat Batman from Aston Martin, currently sitting in P11, with his teammate sitting in 7th place, Nadim Jr., as we see Fat Cat unfortunately coming out of the third corner and spinning around. There goes JP though on an outlap as well. Only driver to be on a hot lap is SMH. Can't quite tell. I don't think he's on a hot lap right now. He's not got at words. He's not got any RS. There he goes into the pits. And to mention now, as I see him going into the pits, you have to remember that this is the track where we saw the legendary Sebastian Vettel with Red Bull overtake two drivers going into the pit entrance. So,
It wasn't Ferrari though.
Was it Ferrari?
Red Bull.
I
Yeah,
think it was Red
Ferrari.
Bull.
No, it
was Ferrari. Yeah, it's Ferrari. Yes, that was my bad. My bad. My Sebastian Vettel knowledge is a little rusty at the moment. Shut up. The thing to note that these drivers have to be wary of, I know a few drivers asked, can we make that move? You are welcome to make that move, but these cars are so much wider. These are nearly 2 meters wide. Like, they're a tank. So if any driver does manage to somehow pull off a maneuver like Vettel did all those years ago, I will be thoroughly impressed. Because it is a very narrow pit entry. Go on.
Oh, Shanghai almost loses it, but I think we need a safety car for that move to be like perfectly spot on. Because if not for a safety car, you can't really make that move.
No, I think if anything, that move would cause a safety car because it's going to be very tight.
Yeah. Because in 2021, I did it once, and in 2020, I did it once again. And it works with the old cars, but these cars, as Darkness said, they're wider. They're a tank almost.
They really are. So Shanghai, with that moment, he has backed out of this lap. He is recharging his battery. 60% should be more than enough to be able to start a lap. So we'll have to see what he can do. Just behind him, we've got Koz currently sitting in second place at 132.3. He's got a full battery and now is going to start a hot lap to improve. He's got he needs to find 2.5 tenths somewhere around Shanghai International Circuit, and he will take first place. Fudge as well on a hot lap. He's coming around into the final corner to start it. He does have a full battery. I mean, I think all the drivers now, if you're not out of the pits, you're not going to cross the line in time. I think, if anything, those who cross the line in the next 10 seconds, if the yellow flag could go away, please, have the potential for a second lap afterwards. Otherwise, that'll be it. I believe that's Fat Cat. Right, 50 seconds. So, Fudge and Koz, I believe, are the only two drivers who'll be able to finish this lap and potentially have one more lap after this, should they need it. Otherwise, everyone... Pineax?
Yes.
We're down to the last 30 seconds. Every driver is on the track right now trying to go for a final lap.
This is gonna be tricky.
This is
almost
interesting.
Like Monza level.
This is like real life level.
Exactly.
This is very interesting. We have a yellow flag out for a Alpine there, unfortunately. I think this will be... Oh no, he's going to go for it. He's going to go for a hot lap. I think he was getting out of the way for other drivers. Let's go back on board. We've got Shanghai going on a hot lap. He's coming around towards the final corner now to the line. Fortunately, not an improvement, and he backs out of that lap. Next cross line, Koz with an improved lap time. He does improve, but unfortunately not enough. Koz now a 132.2, unfortunately improving, but not enough to grab pole position. So currently Timur's got it, but Timur is also on a hot lap. He's currently 1/10 up on his previous time. I think we might have it here. Still got a whole sector to go. But could we have our first 1:31 lap time? Let's go on with everyone else. We got Panos, 1/10 improvement coming down that long straight. Just behind him, I believe that's an Alpha Tauri. We've got Zoltz just behind him, 2.5 tenths improvement to see what these two drivers can do now. Panos coming out of that hairpin, coming towards the final corner. Can he keep his car together? And within limits, he does, right on the cusp of the limits. And across the line, he goes third fastest. A 1:32.6 by the Ferrari driver Zoltz with a 1:33.426. 3 thousandths of a second improvement on JP for 10th place. Next to come towards the line, we got Timur already improving in the middle sector and the first sector. Cross the line. It is a 1:32.6. What an incredible lap by the Red Bull driver. That is oh my god, I'm speechless.
That's something else.
That is something else. Shanghai is in the grass. He's called it quits for that lap time. Junior. Mr. Nadim Jr. also not on a flying lap. Uber, I believe, might be on a flying lap. I have to see now. It's only showing us his best time. He has got no ERS. Going around the final corner now. Will Uber improve from 9th place? He got a 1:33.4. Oh wait, no, he's already crossed the line. That's my bad. Nadim's going into the pits. Oh my god! I called it. I did say we're gonna, at this rate, we're gonna see a 1:31, but a 4 tenths improvement.
Exactly, like a high 1:31 was possible in my opinion, but
and a Ferrari 2.3.
Yeah, a Ferrari 2.3, a sub 31, like sub 32, I guess.
And it's the top 7 in the territories of 1:32s, and then obviously first place in a 1:31.
And Nadim is like there as a tier 2 sub, but on P8, like it's a really great position for him, I guess.
Yeah, that is incredible.
But if he could have made his best lap that he did on the tier 2 race, he could have been on. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's as best as it goes.
And a couple lap times to mention. So there's a few drivers there that I've only just noticed now as we wait for the animation to, get these cars into the pits. There's a few drivers who, although did not qualify in the top 10, well, I say top 10, it doesn't really matter top 10. We're not doing Q1, Q2, Q3. But there are a few drivers who are so close. So we've got, if we look towards the back of the grid, so that's a 6 tenths gap for first place and second place. We've got like 2 1,000ths of a second between SMH and Fat Cat Batman. We've got 3 1,000ths of a second between JP and Zoltz. We've got about a tenth between Artuam and Rico. We've got 100th of a second between Artuam and Fudge. Like, these are incredible times by everyone. And honestly, I am very excited for the race now. This has really hyped me up.
Yeah. But I was expecting a sub 1:31 from... wait, I forgot his name. Spinay. What was his...
Spinay. He was a 1:33.9.
But what was his, usual name?
Shanghai.
Without spin. Yeah, Shanghai, okay.
Shanghai. It's gone from Shanghai to Spinay at Austria, then Sprintay for Australia, because it was a sprint race. And now he's gone back to Spinay, because I guess he's just going to spin as we see the T-posing engineers. Honestly, it's a bug, but I love the bug. It's a great bug.
Yeah. It's not a bug, it's a future.
Now, the one thing I didn't notice is we've got 18 drivers. Which team are we missing? Are we missing a whole team, or are we missing are 2 drivers missing a driver? 2 teams missing a driver. Oh my god, I'm really losing it. Please drink water, everyone. Stay hydrated. It's the one mistake I've made today, because I've drunk no water at all.
So, let's see. We have a missing... What? Alpine, I guess, yeah? Yeah, we have a missing Alpine, and... Other than that... I can't seem to find the other one.
Okay, well, there goes the timer, so I think... There we go, the session's going to start now.
Nice.
Yes, we've got a missing Red Bull and a missing Alpine. No, we've got 2 Red Bulls. No. Missing Alpine.
No. I can't find
and a missing Haas.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm missing cast.
Right. Now, before we look at the tyres, I want to note, so in Tier 2 we only had 2 drivers on the hard compound tyres. That was Webby and Trexie. And unfortunately Trexie retired in the pits from an unfortunate accident at the start of the race. But Webby went on to finish in 5th place, taking the fastest... sorry, not 5th place. 4th place, sorry. So the hard compound tyres is a very good option, as shown by Webby. Let's have a look now. We have a fairly...
That's
No, that's
incredible.
not a split. That's a majority hard compound.
Yeah.
1,
The
2,
other
3, 4, 5. So only 6 drivers have opted for the medium compound tyres, and those are Cos, Fudge, Nadim, Uver, JP, and Fat Cat Batman have opted for the medium hard strategy, whilst the rest of the grid have gone for the hard soft. Or potentially, although this track is a tyre killer, I wouldn't be surprised if Dante went for a hard soft, because he clearly likes that strategy in other
He
tracks.
loves it. He really loves it.
He's a
He did it
madman to
quite
be
a
able
lot.
to try that, honestly.
Yeah. We have
But-
spinning Alpine on the back.
Whilst I get that, you know, So, okay, as a Ferrari, we got a spinning Haas at the back and a very wide Shanghai. Not a Shanghai. That's a Williams, that's Stereo G. No, so as a Ferrari team principal, I respect and I completely understand my drivers deciding to go for alternate strategies in terms of, you know, the fact that they don't want to double stack going into the pits. But I'm quite surprised that Cos, being the driver in front, has gone for the softer compound of tyre for the start of the race.
Can you make him move
In
on
my
the start?
although he'll have a great start, yeah, I guess in my head I would have assumed he would play the long game, but I guess potentially if he thinks he's got the pace, he can take the line. As unfortunately Team was disqualified from the race start. That is going to be a huge loss for him, but a huge victory for Ferrari if he gets a brilliant start. Where is the Ferrari driver, in fact? There he is, unfortunately, and we have a spinning Maverick at the back trying to warm up
Yeah.
his tyres. Fat
He
Cat
almost hit the
Batman as
wall.
well on the medium tyres. He's found himself disqualified.
We have few cars aligned towards like the inside line. I guess it's a Alpine.
We have a-
No? Yeah, it's a
We have
Williams.
one on a very aggressive line. But here we
Yeah.
go. For the start of the race. It's quiet, it's slow. It's a very tentative start. But the Red Bull driver does manage to make a very good start with a
it's
cold
a
start.
spin.
And there's already a couple collisions at the back. Cos is not out of the race, but at the back of the race with Fudge. Oh my god, there's a lot going on at the back here. We
Can I
have
spun?
ourselves, so many drivers have spun. Cos finds himself at the back of the grid. We also got Shanae, Fudge at the back, JP falling a few positions, Dante going up a few positions, no sense as well. Fat Cat Batman finds himself up into 9th place. Timor with a great start after being disqualified in the formation. That finds himself still leading by 6/10. Panos now up a position.
What is going
But
on?
the massive collision at the start, that is 3 drivers already down in the bottom 3 positions. Shanae down by 9 places, Cos down by 15, and Fudge down by 14 places off of the line. Thank you for the predicted stop strategy. The 2-stop is possible, but I highly doubt anyone's going to go for the 2-stop. As we now go into the 3rd sector. As we go further down the grid, we've got ourselves Fat Cat Batman and Dante. Dante going for a move on his teammate. Potential team orders at the start of the race. We'll have to see now. JP ahead on those medium compound tyres. Oh my god, there's a lot going on. There's a slow driver at the back there. I think that is Shanae going very wide. No, that's Dario G. He's gone very wide. What's happened to Dario G there? I can't actually quite tell if there's any damage on his car. But we now have 5 cars way out of place. Now Dante fighting with his teammate, or in fact, sorry, not Dante. Dante going ahead of No Sense. Now, Fat Cat Bat. I think there's a driver that has. Okay, there's a lot. Oh no, Artom's gone in the pits. That's why. Cos has gone into the pits as well. There goes Fudge as well. So suspected damage from that first lap incident. Now SMH going through down the main straight up into 15th place now. That was a lot more spicy than the first lap incidents in Tier 2.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call that spicy. That was scary.
Yeah, this was like a safety car level incident.
Yeah.
To be honest.
To be fair, I wouldn't. I would be quite happy if there was a safety car. To be honest,
Yeah, it makes everything spicier.
it doesn't make everything spicier, but I think considering the fact that so many drivers lost out there, and some
Yeah,
of it was to no fault of their own, I think it would help them recuperate from those mistakes of drivers ahead.
exactly. It helps with those kind of situations, but unfortunately we have no safety car, so they're gonna have to find a way, some other way to make up for the positions they lost. And there we OG spawns again.
Very unfortunate start for the Williams driver now. Z is getting passed now by the Alpine driver. That is... It's only been 2 laps, and I have to say I am very happy to see no drivers out of this race so far, but we have had quite a few first lap incidents now, as we have DRS enabled.
So far we had a spin every lap. So can we have another spin in lap 3? I don't think we can. I don't want to see another spin by another driver, to be honest. But there's an AlphaTauri who's boxing. I guess he has damage. Yeah, he has. He's missing an end plate, and Shanghai goes wide. Not a spin.
Where is Shanghai? Shanghai up into 11th place. Although a rocky start, he has managed to make a comeback after finding himself so far at the back of the pack.
By the way, the Red Bull driver flew away. The gap is already quite a lot.
Oh my god, people are going to sign him so quickly for next season, honestly. It's going to be very quick.
That's incredible pace.
But you have to remember as well, he although had a very good start, he also got very lucky because everyone behind him, unfortunately Panos has now left the session, well, hopefully we get him back into the session.
Oh.
He managed to capitalize so well with all of the incidents behind him, he pulled away with no problem at all.
And we have another spin again.
And we have another Spinay making a move on the Maverick. That I'm a bit speechless, to be honest, because it's only been 4 laps. I've already lost things to say because too much has happened.
And Nadim overtook his own driver right now.
He did, yeah. And Maverick's all over the gearbox still of Shanghai. I wonder how much damage a lot of these drivers will have. Of course, we do have. I believe although we're running standard for Tier 1, it is very much possible for drivers to receive underbody damage or side pot damage, as we see the Ferrari Cos making position on Dario G at the back there. Very unfortunate start for the Ferrari driver. Had a very good qualifying position starting in P2, but unfortunately found himself involved in a lap 1 incident and now down into 15th place. Let's see if he can make a comeback from there. I don't doubt his skill. We've seen many drivers make that improvement, as Maverick is the first driver to receive 3 seconds for track limits. Only 2 drivers in Tier 2 had fallen victim to track limit penalties, as we see Fat Cat Batman losing a position to Zoltz there, as Zoltz has a snap of oversteer coming out the corner, unfortunately now losing 3 positions. Uber all over the gearbox. I say all over the gearbox. Panos are still not in the lobby, unfortunately. And there's a spin at the back between Dante and No Sense. Very unfortunate between the 2 drivers. Now Shanghai and Maverick, JP as well, all up into 8th, 9th and 10th respectively. Hopefully these 2 drivers have walked away from this incident with no damage. We'll have to see in the reports. I have no doubt that we will have a report later in the race for that incident. Now as we go on with JP, 4 tenths behind his former teammate and former team principal, Maverick. Now we've already seen these 2 tussle many times in the past. and it has sometimes gone well, sometimes has gone a bit dirty between the two of them. So it'll be interesting to see now, as JP will have, as Dario G unfortunately retiring in the pits. Oh no, Maverick's gone wide. There goes JP up into 9th place. Very easy move for the Aston Martin driver. As we go further ahead, we've got ourselves Zoltz and Uwe going past Panos now. Still has not reconnected a lobby. Very unfortunate to see. The Ferrari driver struggling to reconnect. Hopefully we can get someone to invite them.
We have 2 DNFs already.
2 DNFs. Unfortunately, it's not a lap 1 DNF though. You know, I'll take it. As we have Uwe and Uwe and Fat Cat fighting. Oh, Uwe missing his braking zone. As Awful Snake also now retires in the pits for this race. Timor with the new fastest lap. And Uwe fighting so well, so tidy with Fat Cat Batman there. But I think Fat Cat has managed to walk away quite easily. Now Zoltz is in this fight, right on the gearbox of that Red Bull driver. Currently in Alfa Romeo 2-3 with the reserves drivers. So a very good start for those two. 6th and 10th places up from their previous positions. Now Panos back into the lobby. He'll find himself, unfortunately, down to 6th place, but we'll have to see how he can improve. Go on, Pinax.
I think he has the pace to climb up the positions that he lost, unfortunately, to disconnect.
I think he does as well. I mean, we still have a lot to play with 22 laps to go. Pit strategies are going to be huge in this race. So we have another driver off. That is an Alpha Tauri, I believe. Is that Zoltz? I think that might have been Zoltz. I can't actually quite tell. It looks like an Alpha Tauri, but I don't... Okay. Well, I'm seeing things, I guess.
Alpha Tauri on the grid in its themselves.
I'm so confused why there was a grey dot on the screen then.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I've only just looked at the mini-map. Timor with 8.5 seconds to Nadim behind him. That is an impressive gap. That is SMH, unfortunately, having a bit of a spin now. Artuam now up into 13th place, and Dante still catching. Dante and No Sense making a move. I forgot to hit the right button. There goes No Sense on that DRS straight. Now up into 9th place, going around the outside with DRS on JP. It's now a 4-way battle with No Sense in the lead for 9th place. We've got a fight between Spinay and Rico for 7th place. And then the next fight ahead is Uwe catching up to Fat Cat Batman for 3rd place. God, we haven't even reached a quarter of the way there. I mean, we just have. But, yeah. Unfortunate that still unfortunate that now 7 laps in, we have lost 3 drivers. Awful Snake, Dario G, and Fudge all retired in the pit lane. Very unfortunate to see them out of this race. Could have been good points for the teams. Hopefully we can have them score points when we come back in a couple of weeks' time. Back to the race at hand, we've got JP just outside the DRS zone to No Sense ahead of him. Uwe still half a second behind, now going through the DRS zone. He will have that DRS, but will he have... He does have plenty of ERS. He could potentially attempt a move on the Alfa Romeo driver ahead of him. If we go slightly further behind, we've got Rico and Shanae all fighting Panos now for that 6th place. Now Panos reconnected the lobby. He has 3 positions to try and fight back to get to where he was before he disconnected. Hopefully he can recuperate from where he is now. Shanae, being involved in a first lap incident, did find himself quite a way behind the pack. So did Maverick and Cos. Now if we go down towards Maverick to see where he's at, he's now up into 11th place. Maverick 1.2 seconds behind his former teammate. And former champion, current defending champion of... No, I've got it all mixed up. My bad, never mind. Just former teammate. We'll leave it at that. Yeah. And Cos, the final driver on the grid, who also was involved in a first lap incident. Very unfortunate to see. Now half a second behind SMH. And he is still on those hard compound tyres. No, sorry, he was on the mediums. He's pitted for the hard compound tyres now. So although he's served his mandatory pit stop, I have very high doubt. I highly doubt, that those tyres are going to survive at all to the end of the race. I have a feeling he's looking to go for a soft compound tyre at the very end, as we have Maverick 2/10 behind Dante now. Aston Martin securing 10th and 11th place now as Cos makes the move around the outside on the Alpine driver. Very good move by the Ferrari driver. Now finds himself up into 14th place. Further ahead, we've got Rico closing in on Panos. Now going into the DRS straight, the Haas driver has 50% ERS. He is using that ERS, and he will have that DRS open. DRS drag reduction system, opening the rear wing on the car, reducing the downforce and increasing its top speed. Now going down the inside into that hairpin. Ferrari with the switchback. Can he get the exit to fight? He will have the outside line, but the inside line is most powerful for this corner, and Rico now finds himself up into 6th place. Very good fight between the two drivers there. But Panos is not done from this fight. He will have DRS still, and will Shanghai behind him into the first corner now. They are still just behind, unfortunately not close enough to fight for that position. As Uwe finds himself now up into 3rd, Fat Cat half a second behind. Go on, Pinex.
That was incredible from Rico. I thought Panos was going to have the position back on the
switchback.
Straight, yeah, in the DRS, like with the DRS, but Rico actually made the move stick. It's incredible.
He defended really well, yeah. Was very impressive driving.
Indeed.
Now as we have a yellow flag out, unfortunately I believe that is SMH on the main straight. Definitely a race to forget for many. Now Dante losing position out to Maverick. It is a very good fight between these two drivers now. But will Maverick be able to continue to defend? Of course, now we are reaching that point where most of the medium compound runners will have to pit in the next 5 to 6 laps, whereas the hard compound tyres can survive up to, I believe it's 16 laps, 16 to 18 laps before you want to think about pitting them. Of course, soft compound tyres are possible, you can pit for those, but this is a track that chews through your tyres like there is no tomorrow, so seeing a soft compound tyre is very unlikely. And I honestly, I'm intrigued to know what kind of strategy Dante is going to go for. If he does go for that one stop, then hands down, he's a tyre whisperer.
Exactly. And soft tires won't last on this track more than, like, you can go 10 laps, but your tires will be done. Yeah. But I doubt he'll do that. But at the same time, I won't be surprised because he does that all the time.
I don't know how he does it, honestly.
It works as well, surprisingly.
Last season, he attempted it at Portugal. A very unfortunate finish for him in Portugal after switching from the hards to softs just before wanting to pit for the softs. His tyres fell out from beneath him and he went spinning out of the final corner. So a very unfortunate finish for Dante. But then the very next race after Portugal, I do not recall what it was last season, but straight after Portugal, he made it work again. The one stop hard to softs and he won the race. So if last season is anything to go off of, I think Dante's got this as SMH now retires in the pits. Very unfortunate race for the Alpine driver. Now, as there is a fight going on between Uwe and Fat Cat. Fat Cat finds himself now up into 3rd place. It is back up to 2-3 for Alfa Romeo. And Fat Cat, because he made that move after the DRS detection zone, he has the DRS to continue to defend. Impressive driving by the driver there. Shanghai, oh my god, okay. Shanghai as well making a move on the Ferrari driver now with DRS. Finds himself up into 7th place now. Portugal, then Jeddah, and Japan, yeah. So Dante really made those tyres work in Jeddah. And Jeddah as well is another track that absolutely slaughters your tyre like there is no tomorrow. So, like, well, not as much as China, but still is not great for the tyres. So, still an impressive drive. Now, as we go into the 11th lap, let's have a look at the position changes. We have currently Timur, who qualified in first, the first driver this evening, or even this entire weekend, to set a 1:31 lap time, a 1:31.606 if I remember correctly, by the Red Bull driver. Absolutely smashed the track record for China here at Phoenix. Then Nadim in second place, currently up 6 positions, with his teammate just a bit behind him, up into third place after qualifying 13th. And then behind them we've got Uwe, Zoltz also up 5 places from 9th and 10th respectively. Rico and Shanghai back in their original positions. Panos, who had started the race in third place with an incredible lap time, unfortunately disconnected from the lobby and has lost out on a few positions from overtakes and the disconnection. And to finish out the top 10, we've got ourselves No Sense up from 18th place after having a retirement in qualifying, now up to 9th place, and JP from 11th up on his teammate into 10th place now as Dante makes a move down the main straight with DRS. He makes the move on Maverick again, and they make the dance around as Nadim is in the pits now. He is done with those medium compound tyres. Now, we have seen already one driver in Tier 2 attempt to make the undercut, and unfortunately it did not work out for them. So could Nadim be trying the undercut, but making it successful this time? He now comes out of the pits, finds himself down into 12th place, merely, I don't know how many seconds behind that is, but quite a fair bit away.
Yeah, that's quite a lot.
Still within reach of everyone else ahead of him pitting and him gaining on that. But I honestly, Timur, he's just in a world of his own. 19 seconds ahead. Average loss is about 20 seconds in this race, I believe, as Cos now retires in the pits. Very unfortunate to see the Ferrari driver out of this race. Very unfortunate start for him. He qualified second. He was a 132.3 or 132.2 is what he improved to in qualifying, but unfortunately now out of this race after a collision in lap 1. So it'll be interesting to see any reports that come from that as Maverick makes a move on Dante. Again, they go round this dance and Dante will have DRS on Maverick again. And will we see him make a move on the McLaren team principal? He is close enough, but does he have that pace? Okay, never mind. Took the words right out of my mouth. He's got the pace. He's going for a move. Maverick on the inside line, unfortunately not close enough, but he goes for a switchback. Dante seemingly locking up or missing his braking zone. Unfortunately, could not hold position. Now losing it to Maverick again, as now Fat Cat, Batman, and JP are in the pits. JP just entering, Fat Cat getting his tyres changed now. Uwe now secures a provisional 1-2 Red Bull, and Timur continues to grow that, increase that gap, to a free pit stop potentially. So that is quite impressive. Now we've had 3 drivers pit already. Nadim on the hard compound tyres a lap before. Fat Cat Batman also on the hards. But didn't Fat Cat Batman also... Did both alphas start on the mediums?
Let me check.
I thought they both started on the mediums. Sorry, I thought they both started on the hards.
No, both of them started on the medium tires and...
Oh, okay. So they're on the same strategy. Okay. They're not doing alternating strategies. Well, now to provisional 1-2. Timur opting not to pit still. He's got those hard compound tyres, of course. So he's got at least another 4 or 5 laps before he requires to pit. Before those tyres drop off, and, well, he'll go Spinala in the wrong car. Rico half a second back on the Red Bull driver. There goes Uwe into the pits now, sick of those medium compound tyres. Rico up into second place, and Zoltz up into third place. Shanghai, after a very unfortunate start of the race, finds himself up into third place. Panos up into fourth place now, as Zoltz makes a brilliant move down that main straight. So Dante as well into the pits. Wait a minute, Dante into the pits? Dante was on the hard compound tyres. And he's going for the mediums now.
Yeah, we can see the softs on this track as well.
Is he going for a he can't be going for a 2-stop. Or is he going to push those mediums to go 14 laps?
I mean, you can technically do that. They can last.
Oh, they can definitely last. We have a drag race between Uber and Fat Cat Batman, yet again fighting for position. Now Fat Cat Batman finds himself up into 10th place. I know you can push those tyres, but I would have thought Dante, of all people, to continue on those hard compound tyres before pitting.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised now, as we see Shanae with DRS now. He is closing that gap down to Zolt, but unfortunately he's not close enough to make a move yet. I think he's just going to bide his time and wait for the perfect moment in the hopes he can go for a potential overcut. We'll have to see when the two drivers decide to pit and get rid of those hard compound tyres. Slightly further back. Well, I stay slightly further back. We haven't got much of a fight anywhere else. We've got Shanae right on the gearbox of Zoltz, and behind them, 0.8 seconds behind, is Panos. Nadim, he is now up in 7th place as Maverick goes into pits. Maverick's done with those hard compound tyres. Everyone's pitting a lot earlier than I thought for the hard compound tyres.
Yeah. It's actually strange.
Yeah, it is very strange. I guess potentially what they're doing is they're... I don't know, actually. I was going to try and guess, but I can't guess as Timur has left the session after having a near moment there.
Gap.
Hopefully we can get him back into the lobby. He is 20.6 seconds ahead, but as we switch to him, his car was off of the track. I think he might have lost a couple seconds, but fortunately not too much time. But of course the AI will not drive full pelt. We'll have to see if we can get him back into the lobby. Very unfortunate for the Red Bull driver.
Oh, the AI is using all of his battery right now.
That is not going to be great when he joins. It's not just the battery. He's losing so much time. He's gone from 22 seconds to 19.4 as we have Shanae losing a position to Panos on that long straight DRS advantage. Gives him the position now up into 4th place. As we see, who is that going into the pits?
Shanae.
Shanae is now into the pits. Now, this is roughly when I was expecting drivers to go in for the hard compound. This is when I thought they would pit. So now Shanae pits with 5 drivers left on the original set of tyres that they started the race on, and Artuam on 13 lap old mediums, who's also now pitting. Those mediums certainly will not last, and I suspect he'll probably go for a second set of medium tyres now. Yeah, he is going to go for the second set. That is the logical assumption in that situation. As Timur is still yet to join back into the lobby.
And we still have 5 people who's gonna box. The top 5.
We do, as Dante puts in the fastest lap.
Let's grab that.
Could we see
17 seconds? Yes.
Could we see people pitting now, or do we think that there are daring drivers similar to that of Dante to go for a one-stop onto softs?
That's a good question. But I don't think anyone has any sort of softs for the race. But if they have, you might as well use it. You know, it may work.
It may, yeah. As we see Dante all over the gearbox again on Maverick. It is just an Aston Martin McLaren fight consistently throughout this race. He has the pace. He does get that purple middle sector. And there goes Zoltz and Panos and Nocent all into the pits now for those medium compound tyres. Dante now up in 10th place. And as Joe has pointed out, we've not noticed this, Pinax, but Fat Cat Batman is down into 13th place. Fat Cat Batman, who was at the top of the leaderboard, almost, fighting with Uva, has stopped again.
But for what? We completely missed something.
We did indeed. Now Uva up into 4th place, Nadim up into 3rd place. Brilliant race for the Alfa Romeo driver. And now Haas up into 2nd place, and Timur still disconnected, losing that gap, now down to 15.5 seconds, 30 seconds splitting P1 and P3. So a significant gap between them, but unfortunately still not back in the lobby.
Imagine if he wins on AI. That would be incredible to see.
It would be incredible, but unfortunately, he would be disqualified from the session.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Very unfortunate indeed.
The only two drivers who's yet to stop are 1 and 2, and one of them is currently not driving his own car,
And the other is
and I
in
think
his
Rico
own
also
world.
works now. Yeah,
Rico at this
and yeah,
stage, if he
he
pits,
stops now.
as Rico now pits, almost going into the barrier there.
That's a little
Rico will
wide
now
line.
find himself roughly, I would say, he's going to find himself 4th place, potentially. 4th place, possibly 5th place, depends on how slow the stop is, but I mean, if you do optimal every time, you're going to get a stop of about 2.4 seconds, so I think I'll be fine. Now there goes Nadim for 2nd place, and here comes Uwe down the main straight. There goes Rico into 4th place, and comfortably ahead of Shanghai. I say comfortably, he's only 1.5 seconds behind.
Not that comfortable. Still. Oh. And Maverick fights with R2O.
Maverick not
Mercedes guy.
having the best of weekends here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
A pre-race interview. Off camera, he mentioned that he's unfortunately not had the time to get the practice that he would ideally want to be able to get back to fighting for podium. So hopefully, during the season break that we have next week, we can see Maverick back up there fighting for podiums with an extra week of practice. Now, as Timur still yet to pit, he's now got himself 30 seconds to 2nd place. Could the AI be going for a soft strategy?
It can indeed. There's 11 laps to go. And yeah.
So at the current pace with Timur, unfortunately, if he does not reconnect in the next 9 laps before we finish this race, Nadim is on the pathway to victory as a reserve Alfa Romeo driver. I said it. And No Sense puts in the fastest lap time, a 1:35.036 for the I've already forgotten what team. Oh well. Oh, hello, Suffocating. Welcome. You're late to the party. I will give you hope. Nadim is on track to win this race because Timur, unfortunately, if he does not reconnect, will be disqualified from the session. Uwe securing 2nd place at the moment and Rico in 3rd. But Rico can be fighting... will be fighting for 3rd very soon. He is 6 tenths behind, with Shanghai 5 tenths behind. So 3 cars now fighting for 3rd place. And Rico, importantly, has 4-lap pressure tyres. And not only that, he has the medium compound tyre. He's going to have a much bigger pace advantage to the driver ahead of them. Now, 4 tenths back, he goes through the DRS detection zone. He will have that rear wing open going down this long straight. 3 tenths back. He's going to make the move here on the straight. I know it. There's no way with that advantage that he has that he's going to let this opportunity slide. He's not even pushing it. DRS, no ERS. It's a clean move up into 3rd place now and into the final corner. Rico now finds himself up into 3rd place. Definitely finding his pace in this tier. He was originally a Tier 2 driver with Haas, but certainly showed that he has the potential to fight for victories. I mean, he's already won races this year. He won Jeddah, I think I mentioned earlier. So he certainly found his groove here in this tier, in our most competitive tier, with almost no no assists enabled. Sorry. Only racing line and manual gearing with suggested gears are permitted for our drivers to use. So now as he pulls away from the Red Bull driver 6 tenths back, Shanghai is the next competitor in this fight. Shanghai now 4 tenths behind and closing with that tyre advantage.
And Shanghai has a penalty as well. That's gonna play on the big game.
That is. He's got 3 seconds for track limits. Maverick as well. The only 2 drivers this race so far to have received those penalties, as No Sense makes a move on Zolt and finds himself up into 7th place now. 0.8 seconds behind Panos. But yeah, Shanghai, those 3 seconds are going to be absolutely the worst for him. Now, as he is pushing it, no ERS needed. Again, that tyre advantage is going to be massive for him. And a very smooth sailing, a very easy move, sorry, for the Williams driver now up to 4th place. What were you saying about Maverick?
Yeah, he's spun.
As No Sense goes deep on the brakes, now loses 2 positions to Panos and Zoltz. And Maverick, as you mentioned, has spun. He's now down into 12th place. He is now in a world of his own.
That's so unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate indeed.
And our race leader still yet
hasn't pitted. I think he might have manually chosen to go for a 1-stop to softs. So the AI is going to do a 1-stop, but he's losing so much time under AI control.
And the AI box when you disconnect.
Yes, the AI can box. The AI will do everything in its power to finish the race to the best of its ability.
So
it will pit and it will repair if you've got any kind of damage or anything like that.
So he's been on those hard tires since lap 1, and it's in 20 laps. So he has to come soon enough.
He has to, yeah.
Softs probably. But what will the AI do?
He's not going in the pit still.
Again.
What on earth?
God.
This is AI control I've never seen before, honestly. As Rico is closing in on Nadim, half a second back on Nadim. He has that tyre advantage, which is going to be huge. He locks up going into that final chicane. Fortunately, cannot make the move just yet. But with 6 laps to go, Nadim is now under huge pressure. And that race victory is now under huge pressure by the Haas driver behind him. Shanghai as well, just 0.4 seconds behind. There goes Rico. He goes for a move around the outside. He's got DRS and now up into 2nd place into the first corner. He has taken 2nd place from the Nadim. Nadim still got his car on the inside. Dante with a fast lap, 134.929. Nadim still there fighting. But unfortunately, the hard medium strategy prevails in this fight. Now Nadim down to 3rd place. And Shanghai half a second behind now. 4 cars fighting for 2nd place.
Beautiful move from Rico.
Very beautiful. I mean, smooth sailing. And JP now pits for the soft compound tyres. Potentially going for the fastest lap as well now. But I don't see why, as we saw that Dante put in the fast... No, he didn't. Someone else put in the fast lap. I've already forgotten this. Fastest... No, Dante. 134, sorry, 9. So JP going for that 2-stop strategy then. Now Nadim, unfortunately, out of that DRS zone. And Shanghai, 0.4 seconds behind. He's got those 6-lap-old mediums compared to the 10-lap-old hards. You can see Shanghai at the bottom of your screen there. He is using his ERS. He is closing that gap. He's got DRS. This is smooth sailing for the Williams driver, now up into 3rd place. Nadim now, unfortunately, down into 4th place. Those old hard compound tyres are not helping him at all.
Nadim is bleeding.
He is bleeding. And Timur still 22 laps on, still on those hard compound tyres, still yet to join.
And yet box. That's incredible stuff.
And Joe in the chat is now saying, I'm the one who's cursed Alfa Romeo to have lost Nadim the win, the race victory at China today. But unfortunately, it was not commentator's curse. It was just merely a unfortunate call on strategy for the Alfa Romeo driver, though he will still, at the current rate, secure himself a 3rd place victory on the podium step, sorry. And still score good points for the team. As we see Dante putting in the next fastest lap, his teammate on those soft compound tyres. 0.4 seconds behind his former teammate. So many teammates.
Yes.
Former
Not
teammate.
champion or anything like that.
Of course,
15.
those soft tyres are going to be absolutely huge. He's going to make a move now going down the inside. And there is no fighting that for Maverick, as JP definitely has the advantage by a country mile in that situation. Panos got the DRS on Uber. He's going for a move again on the Red Bull driver ahead of him, fighting for 5th place at the moment. And he has that tyre advantage and that DRS advantage. He's now up into 5th place. Very good driving by the Red Bull driver. Red Bull driver? Sorry, by the Ferrari driver. Unfortunate for the Red Bull driver to have lost out of position there.
A Ferrari driver who is an Aston Martin driver, actually.
Yeah. We have three Aston Martin drivers in point positions. Point-winning positions. And Timur still yet to pit with 4 laps remaining in this race, and Rico is 13.5 seconds behind. Timur, who still has to pit, his AI still has to pit. That is it. Rico is in the net lead of the race. Timur's AI is going for a one-stop, hards to mediums.
He's still...
JP is making a move on Zoltz. JP across the line onto the 24th lap and into the first corner. He is now into 10th place. Zolt's still right close to him, but unfortunately those soft compound tyres are going to give him a huge advantage and secure himself that 10th place finish. That 1 point is going to be vital in the championship.
Beautiful move. So now every Aston Martin driver is in the points.
No, Fat Cat Batman in 13th place, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Who's fighting Maverick again? Maverick under fire from another Aston Martin driver.
Oh my god.
Oh, this is very unfortunate racing for Maverick. He also has that 3-second time penalty, so Fat Cat Batman does not even have to. There goes Timur into the pits! He finally pits! And now Rico is going to come through the final corner and take the lead of the race as Nadim loses a position to Panos but fights back brilliantly. But Panos with a brilliant exit. He's going to have DRS. Panos now up into 3rd place. Nadim down into 4th place, unfortunately. And Timur goes on to the medium compound tyres. The AI has scuffed it.
AI absolutely.
And Fat Cat Batman has lost it as well.
What is going on?
Pardon me, but is it all going downhill now? As Nadim finds himself in 4th place, half a second back behind his Tier 2 driver, his Tier 2 teammate in a opposing team for this race. Panos now in 3rd place and Nadim in 4th place. Uva 4.4 seconds behind, also in this fight on old hard compound tyres. Oh my god.
What just happened in 1 lap?
I don't know. Uber 0.3 seconds behind Nadim. He's got 2 lap fresh hard compound tyres, but on a huge difference at this stage of the race. Are we going to see a potential move from the Red Bull driver coming down this main straight? He is half a second behind, and so I don't think.
No DRS.
And he's got 20%, 30%, but he's not close enough to make it effective. As Dante's making a move on that main straight on No Sense. Dante now up into 6th place. Impressive driving.
And No Sense with a switchback. Oh, he almost loses it.
Dante with a brilliant exit out of that corner.
Exactly. That was a great move from Dante.
No Sense still right on the gearbox there. Not backing out this fight. He does have that tyre advantage. So we have a yellow flag. Unfortunately, that is Fat Cat Batman again. Very unfortunate race for the Alfa Romeo driver there. Excuse me, game. Thank you. We go on to see Uva now closing in to Nadim ahead of him. I mentioned that those 2 lap fresher hards aren't going to make much of a difference at this stage, but I think I might be wrong, as Nadim is clearly struggling on those 14 old lap hards. They should still last quite comfortably to the end of the race, but it is around the final laps that those old hards will certainly feel like, well,
Not a
Like,
tire.
not a tire, yeah. You feel like you're going to be driving on the rim very soon. They're that weak and that terrible.
Yeah.
So Uva now pushing as much as he can to fight. Dante, though, is also in this fight. He's 1 second behind, but he has those better mediums. I say better, though. It's 12-lap mediums. Those mediums surely would be crying at this point.
Yeah, soon enough the performance is not going to be as good as it used to be for mediums. As we can see, it's like he's closing in, but not enough.
We have to just hope. If Dante has to hope if he wants to get in this fight, and Nadim and Uva have to be fighting as hard as they can, and be losing time to the cars behind. Now Uva 3/10 back, Nadim half a second back to Panos ahead of him. And to note as well, Shanae, you pointed out this previously, Shanae with that 3-second time penalty, Panos finds himself 3.5 seconds ahead as Uva goes for a move around Nadim. Nadim going wide. Now Uva up into 4th place, Nadim down to 5th place, and now Dante is all over that gearbox of his team principal in an opposing team. Nadim making the move on Uva, Uva making the move on Nadim. This is a 3-way car battle now for the 4th place in the race, for 4th place. I'm struggling now. There is too much happening in this race as Dante tries to go for a move down the inside, almost taking out the Red Bull driver, keeping it very clean. Fortunately, they will have DRS. The Aston Martin and the Red Bull driver will have DRS. Dante is so close. He has DRS. He's using every bit that he's got left in his tank. Fortunately, it might not be enough as the Red Bull driver also has DRS, and he has DRS, but he's not using it. He's not using defense. Dante goes for a move down the inside. And they almost collide. The two of them do touch. But the Red Bull continues to go on ahead. Dante conceding the position. Now as we cross the line, starting the final lap, Rico still maintaining the lead. Dante side by side with Uber. He's fighting for 5th place here. Can he stick his car around the outside? But unfortunately not. He is now back behind the Red Bull. This is very close between the two of them. This now helps Nadim, now a second ahead of the two of them fighting. Dante still right on that gearbox, helping Nadim secure that 4th place. Now as we go into the 2nd sector.
Also, it helped a lot to Panos, as the fight really helps him to pull away from the guys behind. So I think he's...
and he can focus on improving by 5/10. If he improves by 5/10, as now the Red Bull, unfortunately coming out of the corner, could not get a great exit. Dante hitting the back of him. Debris did come flying off. I can't tell if... I think Dante has damage. That is the right end plate of his wing is gone. I mean, it'll give him a bit of an advantage on the straight, but not enough. He is struggling to keep his car on the within track limits. Now, No Sense is going to have DRS on this straight. Dante has to keep this position. This is the last chance for No Sense to take 5th place. He's got the DRS, he's got the ERS, but unfortunately he does not look to be close enough to make a move around the outside. Potential switchback, but there was contact between the the Aston Martin there and the Mercedes drivers. Panos getting a 3-second time penalty at the line. Fortunately, though, with 3.2 seconds behind him, Nadim misses out on getting 3rd place there. That I am sure that we will see a report there from Dante or Uva for that collision. That was very close for car to DNF there, potentially.
Yeah, I think Uber lost it there, and Dante was so close that he
didn't expect the car. As JP now crosses the line in the last point-scoring position. Very unfortunate race for Fat Cat Batman, but still, in terms of Aston Martin, had they, been scoring all those points, that's a huge gain for Aston Martin. But no, Rico with a superb race finishes in 1st place and wins. That was... I'm crying. I am crying a little bit. My Ferrari driver retired. He got involved in a first lap incident. So did Maverick and a few other drivers. But I am also very excited to have the interviews because we had a very, very exciting race.
Exactly. Shanghai from P7 to P2, but Timur from P1 to P7 because of the disconnect issue. It's really unlucky for him.
Yeah, Timor, in fact, P1 to P0 or P20 did the
Yeah.
DSQ. Very unfortunate
Yeah.
end to his race.
Exactly. But it was a spicy race,
That
as we expected
was.
it to be.
I did not expect. I have to say, after Shanae's unfortunate qualifying pace, I did not expect to see him up there on a podium step. But I'm very happy to see him up there and be fighting again. But of course, it came to his fight for a podium did come with the loss of a few drivers at the start of the race.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I'm happy to see him up there. I'm happy to see him on the podium again. It's been a long time since that's happened, and
Yeah,
hopefully
exactly.
it's only going up from here for the rest of the
Hope
season.
so. Hope so.
So we will see. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't appear as though we have our race winner, Rico SK, in the waiting room, but we will shortly have our second place winner in here, Shanae Panos, our third place winner, and Nadeem as well. We'll have them in here very soon. Whilst we get to there, Pineax, what do you think of the incidents we had? Do you think there's a potential for a change in podiums? I think there might be because
Um.
there was a lot of incidents happening in their first lap that will
Yeah,
definitely put the podiums at jeopardy.
but I don't really think the podium will change because although Shinei was involved in the incident, I don't think he was the guilty
Instigator.
one. Yeah, he's not the one to get a penalty, but the marshals will probably know better than I do. So there is still a chance, but I think it's a low chance, if you ask me.
We'll have to see. Right, let's get Shanae in here. Shanae, that was I mean, it was a unfortunate qualifying session. You find yourself, what was it, in ninth place, slightly off the pace. We noticed you were on a hot lap and had a snap of oversteer, but the race, I mean, clearly came your way. You managed to come across the line in second place. How was that race for you?
It was pretty good. I didn't practice for this race, so yep. I made a lot of mistakes in qualifying, as you saw. Yeah, and later I actually get collected on the first lap. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
saw
I
So
did.
a massive collision between, I think, 4 or 5 drivers at the start.
so I was backwards for a bit, for a second, and I was 16th. But I made it clean all the way to the finish. So yeah, and it was very hard for other drivers. I could see like everybody was spinning or touching, or yeah, just total chaos. And I also got the penalty that for avoiding Maverick. Actually, I got 2 warnings for avoiding Maverick by going off track. So I think if I could have, if I have to, I could have maybe appeal the penalty, but I don't know how the rule works. Like, yeah, good race from Rico again. Pitted for new tires later, so and on this track the new tires are just so powerful.
Well,
Exactly.
that was Planix. Have you got any questions?
Yeah. Shanae, do you think the lap line incident was your fault? Do you have anything you want to add for the incident? Or
I mean, it was a little bit like 3 into 1 doesn't go kind of thing, or something like this. I was very squeezed. I had to take very tight line into turn 1. I didn't expect it, and I just kind of understeered into the one guy. I don't know who it was, but yeah, I
yeah,
had to take a very tight line, which is like unnatural in this corner, but it's racing, so yeah.
yeah, it happens. But a good recovery, regardless. P2 from P7. Actually, like
Actually, yeah, from P16, but it was good.
P16. Yeah, a great recovery indeed.
Great end to the first half of the season. You looking forward to having a week off now? Hopefully, get some practice in for the second half.
Nah, I'm not gonna practice. It's my last season, mine, in this game.
Ah, yeah,
I don't
it'll be
like it
sad to see you
anymore.
go.
I don't like it anymore.
Yeah, that's fair enough. This game does have a lot of bugs. Well, for then your last season with Phoenix, do you look forward to having Monaco as the
Of course, it's the
start
best
of the
track.
season break, or start of the end of the season break? I can't remember.
It's the best track, man. It's the best.
Of
Not,
course.
Not
Do you
for
think?
overtaking, but
Do you think
the
that
best
could
track
be
for
a
driving.
strong track for you? Do you think you could get another podium there, potentially a win?
I think yeah. Actually, I was on podium, apart from Jeddah, like every race of this season, and Rico was P1, so it was the same for a lot of time.
Well,
maybe I can change that so finally, but yeah, Rico is just so quick.
well, we have our fingers crossed for you in the commentary box. We'd like to see you on the top step again, dominating as you were last season. Hopefully, we can see you dominating again this season and defend that world championship.
Yep, thanks.
Thank you for joining. Now let's get our third place. We'll get third and fourth place in here at the same time. We've got ourselves Panos and Nadim, who are teammates, if I am... correct me if I'm mistaken, teammates with Aston Martin in Tier 2, but are now rivals in Tier 1. Panos, you got third place. You go first. How was that race for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good, considering my disconnect and coming back in the field to get B3 was pretty good. Had a nice battle with everyone. At one point, we were fighting with 5 cars for the podium, so that's always great to see. I mean, I haven't raced this much in Tier 2, but yeah, Tier 1 is the better tier. So, yeah. Qualifying, what was that lap from the first guy?
From Timor, that 1:31.6, that was insane.
Yeah, that was fucking insane. I saw that lap. He was a full second quicker than me. I was surprised. But yeah, he was. He's just esports level. But yeah, I mean, race went pretty well. Had also a nice fight with Nadim as well. We were just talking about it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, in the last corner, I got 4 warnings.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah.
I saw you went wide. Why did you get?
Yeah, I wanted to go wide, maybe get one warning, get away with getting P2 with the Shine, but in the end, it didn't work out. So I tried to go wide.
Almost backfired.
Yeah, yeah, almost lost P3 because of that, but luckily no.
And Nadim, how's the race for you? You almost had the race victory in hand because Timor was on. In fact, Timor will be disqualified from the race because he disconnected before 50% of the race. I mean, you almost had that race victory. Your team principals were shouting at me in the chat saying I jinxed you. But unfortunately, the race strategy did not go your way and you came out 4th place. How was that race for you?
I mean, I can't believe what else happened in that race. I went from having no expectations in that race, being P8, right? Just came in about maybe trying to score a few points here and there. But by the end of first lap, I was freaking P2. And I was like, what? I was like in shock, in total shock. And then I saw the man disconnecting P1. And by then, I have realized I was leading the race, technically. So, I was shitting my pants. I had no expectations, and then I just somehow leading the race. I mean, the strategy definitely was unfortunate because I was pushing, but the medium runners were just so fast at the end. I couldn't keep up. I gave it my all, but at the end of the day, I'm happy. P4, I'm just happy I finished this race. To be honest, it was crazy throughout. A lot of people spinning, a lot of crashes, and then, mate, 31.6. How do you even beat that? I mean, that's insane. But I had a good
first
overall
31 lap time.
I mean, to be honest, I had great battles with everybody. It was good throughout, and I mean, definitely looking forward to see what happens in Monaco because if this is kind of what's to come, then God knows what will happen in Monaco.
I already know what's gonna happen. Like 50% of the deal will probably DNF.
Do you think Monaco is going to be a strong track for you two?
I'll be missing the next 2 races because I'll be in holiday which
Oh
does open
no!
up,
So you're leaving
Yeah.
Nadim by himself in tier 2 then?
yeah, it does open up the championship, so it'll be exciting to see what the last 2 races can bring. But I think we will have a close battle, even though we're teammates.
I mean,
But, yeah.
technically, it's weird that we scored the most points, but for different teams.
For
We
opposing
outsco-
teams.
We literally outscored our own team for different teams.
It's a
Yeah.
different
So-
level.
As a team
It's
principal,
different.
you fought basically all of your drivers on the track today.
Basically, and I beat them, which both me and Panos did. So I don't know what to say. Aston Martin is just a go-to team. Join us for next season.
Dante in the closing stages of that race unfortunately did get into
I know what
a situation with Uva and lost part of his end plate, was under a lot of pressure from No Sense behind.
I somehow overtook Uber made a mistake somewhere, and then in the S's, and I just swooped there on the outside. We're going side by side. Man, I was just saying, don't brake test somebody, don't go in the back of somebody because of ABS. I don't race with ABS, with off, and I was like, that was so tough, man. But definitely did not expect what I hope everybody was cheering me on, because I don't think anybody expected me to be leading the race provisionally, so I'm happy. All I can say, today was a great day for me. I'm just full of good emotions. Finally, a weekend that goes right. And yeah, let's see what happens.
As a fellow team principal, I am proud of you and I am so glad to see you up there. As a commentator, I thank you for a very interesting battle. We had a 5-car battle for pole position, for first place in that race, and you were amongst those drivers very soon through that fight. So thank you for that. Panos, thank you for reserving in Ferrari. That'll be it from the Ferrari team principal. We're going to go back to commentating and finishing the stream. So thank you for joining us today.
All good, man. All good.
Right, well, Pinax, that was one hell of a race. Those were some interesting interviews. Unfortunately, our race winner is not with us, but that is going to have to be it. Do you look forward to having the week off?
Actually, yeah. It'll be good to recover and maybe practice for Monaco, which is going to be a tough track, tough race for everybody, especially for Tier 1 boys. But yeah, I'm looking forward to racing more than I'm looking forward for the season break.
That's fair enough.
That's what I can say. Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining me again in the commentary box. It is always a pleasure to commentate with you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for me to join you as well. Thank you.
And I look forward to having you with us at Monaco for Tier 1.
Yeah, Monaco is fun. So you'll probably see me there.
Hopefully. All right. Well, thank you very much. And thank you everyone for joining in for the stream. As you may have heard, we do have a season break next week. So we will be hosting some fun races. So please do be sure to join this Discord server. We will have a 5-lap, 8 races, 5-lapper championship going on. There'll be an ACC race as well. PC2 is hosting a couple fun lobbies. There's still plenty to happen and plenty to keep everyone active. So hopefully we will see you there. And we will see you guys, well, if not next week, we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for Monaco's race for Tier 3 on Saturday. So thank you, and until next time.